Hello from Tennessee. My name is Gail Pilley Harris, and I've been asked to tell you a little about my family's connection to Moganshan. My grandfather, Edward Pilley, went to China in 1895. He got married in China, and he and his wife had 4 children. In 1904, he built the house on Moganshan that's now called house number 482. He was also responsible for laying out the road that leads up from the plain to Moganshan. In 1909, my grandmother died unexpectedly, leaving my grandfather with 4 children. So he remarried, and in 1911, he and his second wife, Emma Pilley, had their honeymoon in that house. My father grew up spending many happy summers in that house and learning to be a wonderful tennis player on the tennis courts below the house. This is a picture of my father in 1931, which was taken in Moganshan. And it was about the time that he started to court my mother. So after he completed his education in the United States, he went back to China to teach at the Shanghai American School. And that's where he met my mother, who was also a teacher there and also the daughter of missionaries, Harry and Belle Caldwell. Harry Caldwell, my other grandfather, became known in China for his efforts at ridding the countryside of man-eating tigers. So he became quite famous for his ability to shoot tigers. And he also built a lot of schools and churches during his stay in China. In 1931, my parents got married. That summer, my mother told of a house party that my father gave on Moganshan in the house for the teachers, some of the teachers at SAS, Shanghai American School. She remembered fondly that he sprained his ankle on those steep steps leading up to the house, and she got to hold his foot in her lap all the way back to Shanghai. In 1937, both families decided to have a family reunion on Moganshan. In 1937, both families, the Caldwells and the Pilleys, decided to have a reunion at the house on Moganshan. So I have a picture here taken of that family, and I want to tell you who they are. On the front row is Harry Caldwell, my grandfather. Next is my mother, Muriel Pilley. Next to her is her older brother, Oliver, and his daughter, Jocelyn. Oliver went on to Nanjing University and helped the university move to Chengdu just before the Japanese took over the city in December 13th of 1937. Next to Oliver is his wife, Ida. And behind Ida is my father, John Pilley. Next to him is the sister of his stepmother, Clara Steger, and the young man, Laddie, whom she adopted. Then this person is Belle Caldwell, my grandmother, and this is Morris Caldwell, my mother's younger brother, who went on to be in the Army Air Corps in the United States and unfortunately was shot down over Java in 1942, March of 1942. That was just the day before the United States pulled out of Java. His body was never recovered, which was a great tragedy for the family. I'm sure you remember that in July of August of 1937, the Japanese were bombing Shanghai, and the family could watch the bombs and the explosions over the city and watched the planes fly over. So it was a time of great tension and anxiety. On August 30th of 1937, the family left the house for the last time. And my mother wrote that she cried as she looked back at the house because she never saw it again. After the war was over, my father's older brother, Edward Pilley, went back to China and went to the house and found it badly damaged. He restored it, made lots of repairs, and enjoyed it for a little while he and his family were in China. But after 1948, he left, and nobody else from the family went back to the house until I visited in 2019. So that was a wonderful experience for me and a privilege and a very emotional time for me, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to being able to visit the house. Thanks a lot.